but just seemed like if you're going to steal, you'd probably want to invest a little bit more than 125 there.
Sebastian Ruthenberg taking the chip lead, 1.1 million. Two other players above the million mark, Martin Nielsen and Vincent Gavin.
Remember it? Now my range is really wide.
If you hear that sound, the beep, 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 that's my freaking BlackBerry going off. Oh,
that'll be people making deposits into
What do you know? 2 cents. Okay, enough's enough. Stop that, people.
What I want to know is, does it really work? Has anyone actually found that having made that deposit, suddenly they go on a run?
That's silly.
Don't try to.
Well, at least we know people are listening, right?
We know they're listening because we're getting lots of emails for you, and we'll get back to that inbox in a minute, but I do want to remind everyone as well about the EPT London qualifier that's running on PokerStars.
The limping doesn't work.
Oh, you go for it.
Well, the limping doesn't work.
$22 to enter. A package to the London EPT guaranteed. The buy-in, 6 nights hotel accommodation, travel expenses. It's a freeze-out, not a rebuy tournament. $22 to enter. The prize package worth $14,500, starting at 2:05 Eastern time. So in just over an hour's time, go to the tournament lobby on PokerStars, check out the private tab, and you'll need that password, Corin2006.
I'm guessing like the hotel package alone is worth like $100,000 because that's how much it costs to get a room in London.
Oh, stop it.
It's a joke, all right?
London is not that expensive.
My assistant asked about a suite at the Soho, and they said it was £21.50 a night. Like, what is in there? What are they going to leave in that room for me? Is there going to be somebody, like a butler and everything?
The word suite in an English hotel means you get like a bedroom, a lounge area, a dining area. I mean, it's like half the hotel.
Oh, come on. You know what? You ever been to Vegas? You want to see suites? You can get for like $800. I'm not talking pounds. $800. You can get like a house.
That's because in Vegas they're making money out of you in different ways.
My goodness.
There's no casino.
I got a room there last
hotel.
time at St. Martin's Lane, and I paid £400 a night, and it was the TV was about as big as my head. Right? It had no amenities, just blah. It was all right, but my goodness, £400 a night? That just seems stupid.
We'll beg to differ on the issue of London hotels.
Oh yeah, because they're not cheap. They're not cheap. They're very cheap. I'm sorry.
Back to the action. Jason Mercier all in.
I advise to win your packages online. Have them pay for the room.
Pass it over to Martin on the button.
Is Mercier going to find a customer? Nielsen's on the button. Just the blinds. David Ikatai folds, and Drenu Keller in the big blind will also fold. Blinds and ante for Jason Mercier.
Well, you know, for anybody at the table, there's no one at the table that's more important for than Jason, obviously. You know, if he can pick up 1 to 1.5 a round, he can continually climb slowly without getting called. And I don't think he really does want to get called yet. He'd rather continue to ship it a little bit, get to maybe 500,000 or 600,000, and then try to start playing poker again. Where even that would be short, but not dead.
John in the US asks, Daniel, how would you approach the final table if all the chip stacks were as even as this?
Well, you know, really, they're not quite that even in a sense that there are some short stacks, and you got to be wary of them. You got to avoid being sloppy with too many, you know, raises coming in where, you know, you look to get re-raised. Just respect position a little bit more. I say that I would tone it down a little bit until we got to about 6 or 7 handed and just kind of play my cards for the most part.
Over to Sebastian.
Cards in certain positions and make a little move here and there, but really just tighten the bet when it's full.
Martin in the cutoff.
Emails are welcome. nuts@eptlive.com is the address. Questions, comments, nuts@eptlive.com.
Is that your email address? Nuts? EPT, that's yours?
He's going to raise, make it 95,000.
1.1 million.
Davide let go of the button. Over to Dren in the small.
So Martin Nielsen has raised it to 95,000. We are at a new level, by the way. The blinds have gone up to 20 and 40,000. Every player posting an ante of 4,000.
So 95,000. I like the size of that raise, frankly.
Dren's going to raise all in the
basically small. Close to 2.5 times the big blind.
He's now facing an all-in from Drenu Keller. And Martin folds very quickly.
But you notice there, he made it 95,000, where some players would come in for 3 times the blind, and they would have risked 120, right? So right there, he essentially saves 25,000 because his raise size had no bearing on whether or not he was being moved all in. That had nothing to do with it. If he does that 3 times and, you know, gets moved in all 3, that's 75,000 now that he saved. And it's just overall, it's such a much better approach than over-betting before the flop to get your opponents out.
Dealer pulling in the antes. It's a decent sized pot before any cards are even dealt.
Well, yeah, at this point, you know, as you said, with 20 and 40,000 blinds, there's a lot of value in going after them. But again, I just, you know, you don't need to risk more chips than you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was me, I'd be coming in for 100,000, maybe 98, just to save 2,000 extra. Hey, whatever you can get away with.
Martin Nielsen. Seat number 1 will fold.
Martin and the video pass over to Dren on the button.
Dren Keller is on the button.
And you will see when it comes to race sizing, the majority of professional players that you watch, the really good ones, they're all going to do that. So there's got to be a reason they're all doing it. And it's not just because they like, you know, they feel like it. It's because it's rooted in mathematical
Jason's going to push all in the small blind.
Folded to Jason in the small blind, and he moves all in.
His range of hands here could be very, very wide. Again, blinds are big, especially for a short stack. He's got to win that pot. He says, whew, he had nothing. He really just had to move all in there with almost anything and just hope.
I do love the fact that we've got people watching EPT Live from all over the world, and we've had an email from Bulgaria, and I think, and I'm willing to stand corrected, it's the first time we've ever had an email from Bulgaria. It's from Kolev, who says, Mr. Negranu, hello from Bulgaria. I'd like to ask you something. Do you sometimes, while playing on PokerStars, go down to the low-stakes tables just for fun? Do you ever mix it up with the novice players playing the kind of 5 and 10 cents games or the 25, 50 cents games?
I have on occasion. I don't do it too often because usually the chat box is so insane. You see, the higher limits you play, the less chat you have. When you play like, you know, the 1 and 2 cent, all people have to have is the buy into chats, and you get a whole bunch of, you know, just randomness. When you play the higher limit games, the chat's a little bit limited by people who actually have money on there. I find that the lower you go, the more absurd the chat is. I get, you know, the silly questions like boxes or briefs on a regular basis.
You can always turn the chat off.
Not really. You know, I'm there to chat with the people, but sometimes I actually do tell them. I say, listen, guys, all right, I kind of need to focus. I'm playing heads up, so good night.
I'm playing heads up for 50 cents.
No, it is actually frustrating, frankly, because there are some people in the observer chat that actually do want to ask a good question every once in a while. But a couple just words of wisdom for you. If don't ask me like a long question about a poker hand, because I'm usually not going to have a chance to answer all that, or anything that requires more than a yeah or a no is likely not going to get answered.
Or a Y or an N if you're communicating
I actually
online.
do that sometimes on chat. I'm like, let me here's for the next 10 questions. Yeah, yeah, no, maybe, no, no, yeah, yeah, no. There.
We're going to fold around to Martin. He's going to pass as well. So will Davide and Dren over to Jason on the button.
Surprised to see, frankly. Still 8 players at the table. The blinds,
pass, just the blinds
20 and 40,000. Here we go.
Samuel's going to push all in the small blind.
You know, because the blinds are so high at this point, this is the kind of poker you're going to see for a little while from at least, you know, the bottom 3 guys. They're going to commit everything they have pretty much to any hand that they choose to play.
Only an ace.
So you see a lot less flops when this happens. However, you know, if it was 5-handed, the average stack would go up, and therefore people could see some more flops and do a little more play. So I was at a final table once where this happened, where the blind just, no one went broke. It just happened, and all of a sudden the average stack was really shallow, and then it just became a situation where for, you know, 3 orbits around the table there was no flop. It was just all in or nothing.
Yeah.
But that'll settle down as someone gets eliminated.
Now, a question I know you can answer. This is from Raul Costa in Portugal, asking what you think about Portuguese players from what you've seen, because of course you played against Portugal in last year's World Cup of Poker here in Barcelona.
Well, yeah, it's hard to say. You know, again, I have only played against like 1 Portuguese player, so, and he was good. You know, he made some good decisions. It was a unique event that we played in the World Cup of Poker last year here in Barcelona. So, no, I liked you know, the way he played. I can't say that he represents every Portuguese player that I played with, though. Well, actually, he is. He's the only one.
6 Portuguese players in the Barcelona EPT, 2 of them PokerStars qualifiers. And 2 of those players cashed, one of them being one of those PokerStars qualifiers. At the final table, we've got 2 online qualifiers, Sam Chartier from Canada and Vincent Gavin, the Irish player. And we've also got 2 sponsored players, Sebastian Ruthenberg and Jason Mercier. There's Vincent, qualifying online, says he's going to try a lot more of that because he's enjoying playing in the EPT.
it's really, I mean, if you're going to play the EPT, it's a great way to sort of circumvent the expenses because it's an expensive tour. We're talking euros, not dollars, first of all. That's a lot of money. And to play in them all